What's going on, everyone? When it comes to Russell Westbrook and the Los Angeles Lakers, the Lakers have options. Obviously, one option is just keep Russ, ride it into this year, keep the cap space preserved, and then see what happens in the offseason. Maybe you could get a marquee free agent. Outside of Kyrie, there's no real game changers, but there are some guys, even some guys the Lakers are trying to acquire this season that maybe they could get next season. If the deal isn't there, don't force the issue. Don't force the deal, right? It's not worth giving away your future just to be the same position you're in. Now, if the Lakers can get the right deal, keep a first, maybe even do something like the Knicks deal where very likely you get to keep both firsts, then something like that I can get behind, something like that I understand. But out of all the options that we've seen heavily, the Pacers, the Knicks, and then obviously the Jazz seem to be the most likely one. But another team that hasn't been talked as much, that has been speculated since the beginning, is the San Antonio Spurs. And there are talks about San Antonio still willing to take on Russ. They want a first-round pick. Pop is very likely going to try to get both out of them. But, the Spurs are in that unique situation, right? They're tanking for Victor. They, are selling the farm when it comes to their players. And so they could give up some of the guys to the Lakers to try to, tank even further, recoup an asset, because the Lakers 27 and 29 pick, based on executives, is a prized, they're prizes, right? Because the Lakers could be terrible by then. Post LeBron, how is it going to look? What is it going to be like? Well, when it comes to the Spurs, trade package like this is what is being talked about and speculated, right? So you'd get Doug McDermott, you'd get Josh Richardson, and Jacob Podol. And then the Spurs would receive Russell Westbrook, 2027 first, 2029 first. Now, again, right off the bat, this isn't worth both first-round picks. If maybe for one, if the Spurs become the only team that would take on one first-round pick, they're just going to buy out Russ anyway. They move off of these guys. Then I think this trade would be a reasonable trade because, look, you get McDermott, who not on the best contract in the world, if we're being honest, but, he could shoot. Gives you that shooting, gives you that piece that the Lakers are looking for, that Bogdanovich, Buddy Hield type player, the guy that can knock it down, even like an Evan Fournier. And then you have Josh Richardson, who is the prize, right? He's the 3-and-D wing that can play multiple positions. He's a guy that could be a really solid contributor this year. He's young, so it's a guy that you could have around for the future as well. And then Podol, who's he's a solid guy. He could get you 20 and 10 a night. He's averaged about 14 points a game for his career. Get you about 9 rebounds. So he can rebound. You could drop the ball down low to him. It gives you that low post presence. He's not the best defender in the world, so you don't get like a Buddy Hield style defender. Shooting is a concern and issue. So there's a lot of questions and concerns with that, but again, it's a guy that you could just dump the ball down to, go get you an easy bucket, rather than, always having to spread the floor. If the shot's not falling, that's a big question of concern. If you're not knocking down the 3-ball a game or two, or even in the playoffs especially, and, you try to dump it down to somebody, what do you do? You don't have that guy that can just put the ball on the floor, back to the basket, go get you, an easy post game. Anthony Davis could be that guy, but again, what if he's not the guy that is, knocking down the shots, knocking down the low post games, It'd be nice to have that guy in Podol that could really sort of change the dynamic if need be, that Pau Gasol style player where you just dump it down low, go to work, easy bucket, get you that too, which really does help when you're trying to slow down the pace or you're trying to just generate easy points. You see it all the time. In the playoffs especially, teams go on cold streaks. And so it's nice to have that low post threat, which is something that isn't as utilized and isn't as significant in most teams' eyes as it once was, but it still is. It's still nice to just be able to go get an easy two. He's not, again, the greatest defender in the world, not the greatest shooter in the world, but, it's somebody that, one, keep the cap flexibility. 2, you're getting a guy in Josh Richardson. McDermott, he's kind of, he could be a solid guy. He could be a solid rotation piece. I'm not as high on McDermott as many are. A lot of people really seem to love McDermott. And this trade has been thrown out by, fans countless times. keep a first round pick, well then, that's a great position to be in. I do think these guys help. I don't know if they help as much as like the Jazz deal though. And maybe even the Knicks deal, because I just think Fournier, Reddish, and if you can get Fournier, Reddish, and Derrick Rose, I don't know. I'm not really high on Rose as far as fit wise goes and stuff like that. But I think Fournier, I would take Fournier over basically everyone but Richardson. But you're getting Cam Reddish too. And Cam Reddish, we don't really know what Cam Reddish could be. Plus, Cam Reddish is bigger than Josh Richardson at 6'8", where Josh Richardson is at 6'6", but he does have a 6'10" wingspan. But again, you got a bigger body in Cam Reddish who can play the 3 and the 4, where Richardson can just kind of play the 2 and the 3. He can't really get you the 4. Or if he is, it's usually that means something's going wrong, right? So I'm higher on Cam Reddish personally than Josh Richardson, although I think Josh Richardson's a little more proven. I just think Cam Reddish hasn't gotten a fair chance. He hasn't gotten a fair shake yet. Could be wrong about that, but who knows if that trade even happens, if that even gets done. I don't think this is a bad alternative. I don't think that this is terrible. If I'm being honest, I don't know if these guys are worth a pick. I mean, you keep the flexibility because basically everybody but McDermott is on a expiring. So you could use that other pick if you're going to get a star guy and just move off of that. But it's just like I want a package that gives us more depth on the wing ideally. But problem is it's hard because there's not a lot out there as far as players and rotation guys and like quality guys go. And not just that, even if there was, we probably wouldn't be talking about Westbrook being traded for them even with the first. So it's like, you get what you get. We gotta put things in perspective. We gotta put things in the scope. But I'm not super high on this, if I'm being honest. I don't mind it. I don't think it's the worst trade in the world. If we could do this trade without a first, if we could do this trade with like a pick swap in like 2 or 3 seconds, I think that would be a home run. I would take that. But you have to give up a first in this deal. Because the Spurs aren't going to do us any favors for one. Pop, I still don't think Pop would actually trade with us unless he's getting both first, which no way you're doing both first for this. Like, I would rather give up both first and the other deals than this deal, if I'm being honest. I'm sure there's some people that feel otherwise. I know a lot of people are really high on Josh Richardson, and I think he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty high on him too. But I just think as far as the total package goes, I think that there are other better packages with the other 3 and the Knicks, the Jazz, and the Pacers. Pacers are obviously asking way too much right now, but that price could start coming down if the Jazz and the Knicks and other teams, start emerging and say, hey, we'll take one first. That kind of gives the Lakers the ability to go to the Pacers and be like, look, if you want to get something for these guys, here's your opportunity. Otherwise, we're going to go over here to the Jazz, or we're going to go to the Spurs, or we're going to go to the Knicks, and we're going to go do those deals. That's kind of how I look at this, and maybe they can kind of use that leverage to go and maybe talk down the Pacers rather than hey, you can lose Miles Turner for nothing next season. Nobody's banging on the door for Miles Turner. And then Buddy Hield, maybe you could trade him next season because he's an expiring contract, but who's really going to give you assets for it? And if these picks are really as prized as, they seem to be, execs are throwing it out there. Not only are execs throwing it out there, we're seeing the reports from teams. There's several teams. I mean, there's still, the Hornets are still a team that's been mentioned off and on. I don't think the Hornets want to do it as much anymore because of what happened with Bridges, but still, you have 5-6 teams that would be more than happy to take on Westbrook and get some of those firsts and stuff. So it's good to see options for the Lakers. At the end of the day, that's what you want if you're the Lakers. You want to see options and the opportunity to potentially move off of Westbrook if you need to or if you want to. Now, I don't want to see the Lakers just do a deal just to do a deal. I know a lot of people just want Westbrook gone. Do whatever it takes. Get Westbrook off of this team. But there are worse things than having Westbrook for another season, believe me. And Westbrook can't be much worse than he was last year. So it's only uphill from there. We got an entirely new team. You got a new coach. It's going to implement different systems, different everything. It's not a terrible spot to be in. But, overall, I'm not against this package. I'm not against this trade. I just think it comes down to what would the Lakers have to give up? If this is the only deal where you have to give up one first, then all right, do the deal. Do the deal. You get that low post threat. You get that guy that can, be down low, you could get it to. He could play off the bench, on the bench. Kind of, Bortle gives you a different type of look that none of your other bigs give you, right? And I'm never against that. I do think that he is an underrated, undervalued center in this league. It's just the problem is that the 3-point shot with centers has become so prevalent now, and so it's become such a huge focus for so many teams that I think it gets overlooked. That just having that low post game, but he's a guy that can knock down shots here and there. Like I said, he's not an elite shooter. He's not a guy that's gonna shoot 40% from three or anything like that, but it gives you another look, which is key in my opinion. That's what you need. If you're the Lakers, you're looking for different, what are the different various offensive schemes we can run? How many different matchups and lineups and this, that, and the other? Because again, with Jacob, you're getting that 14-9 guy. He also is an underrated passer, so that's another thing too. You could run the defense off of him, or run the offensive schemes through him if need be. He's solid. It's just free throws are a huge thing. He's like a 50% or 48%, something like that, free throw shooter. 3-point percentage, he doesn't take many threes. He's a guy that he's only taken a handful, I think, if I'm not mistaken, something along those lines. But he can get you some shot blocks, get you some assists, get you some rebounds, get you some points. I don't think that's bad. Josh Richardson, 3-and-D wing, probably the most skilled. He might even be the best player that we would get in this deal or any deal. But again, the total package is my thing. It's not just about getting one guy. It's getting several guys that can really contribute. McDermott, he's solid, but I don't know. I'm not super high on him. I would rather have Fournier than him. I think Josh Richardson and Cam Reddish. I think Cam Reddish could be a bigger Josh Richardson if he's given the proper chance. And then, if you get a Derrick Rose, it's another guard, but maybe you can move Rose, over Portal. I don't know. Those are my thoughts and opinions, and I'd love to hear yours down in the comment section below. So let me know how you feel. What do you think about the Spurs trade? Do you love it? Do you hate it? However you feel about it, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.